name's Aidan Ainsley. I'm Facility and Investment Lead at Kent FA. But as I mentioned, this is a collaborative County FA webinar for counties in the southeast. So we've got a number of us on the call this evening. But yeah, if you've got any kind of further questions beyond this webinar, then please do reach out to your County FA Facilities Lead, who'll be able to support. Um, we have got the chat function open, so if you want to drop any questions in there whilst we go, the guys will try and answer if they can. If not, or you're feeling brave and want to come on and ask your question on camera or whatever, then more than happy to facilitate that throughout as well. So tonight it's obviously about the Greener Game programme, which is a partnership between the FA and E.ON. So we're joined by colleagues from E.ON this evening, including Anthony Atkin, who is Senior Energy Manager at E.ON. And Anthony's going to be supporting us tonight with some more of the core detail behind the programme. But first, we've got Fern Whittock from E.ON, who's the Partnerships and Sponsorships Manager at E.ON, who's just going to come in and say a few words. So are you there, Fern?
Yes, I'm here. Thanks, Aidan. Hi, everyone. Yeah, my name's Fern Whittock. I'm the Partnerships Manager at E.ON UK. I sit within our External Affairs team. So thank you all for joining tonight. It's really great to see so many of you on the call and great to know that you're interested in finding out more about the Greener Game. So I hope that tonight's really useful for you. I just wanted to give a quick few words around E.ON Next involvement and why we're really, really proud to partner with England Football. And the Greener Game's been fantastic so far, and together we're really starting to drive meaningful change. We've got lots of shared values around sustainability, community and access, so it's a really great project for us all to work on. So we've already seen, we're 1 year into the programme now, and we've seen some really positive stories and the impact throughout the programme, and it really demonstrates how even small actions can lead to significant benefits for the clubs that we've worked with in their communities. And we're really looking forward to expanding our reach even more with clubs as we continue with the programme. It's a 5-year programme, and we'll hopefully be giving them greater control, for their communities, and helping them to build more of a sustainable future. So we're 1 year on. I think that it was 1 year on a couple of weeks ago. We launched the programme on the 19th of November down at one of our pilot clubs, Shefford Sports Club. So yeah, 1 year on, we've seen some really great progress. So we've had over 250 clubs have now registered. 240 of those clubs have received our free energy packs, which are really helping them to take control of their energy use. So far, 70 clubs have had their detailed energy surveys and audits, which Tony and George are going to speak to more this evening, giving them really clear recommendations to help them cut costs. And we've had 22 clubs that have already been approved for funded installations. So we've seen from solar panels, to batteries, which are hopefully going to help them deliver real savings. We have 1 year on been able to share some of the savings that our 4 pilot clubs have achieved. So we've seen 25% reductions in annual energy costs, saving just under £10,000 in 1 year. So every penny that they've saved can be reinvested back into the communities and the clubs themselves. And last week, we also were delighted at E.ON Next to launch an exclusive credit where eligible England football clubs can receive up to £100 in bill credit. So yeah, really, really great progress for us 1 year into the programme. I'm really excited to continue working with England Football and driving more change. So round 3 is now open. It closes on the 26th of January, and we're really looking forward to welcoming more clubs into the Greener Game.
That's brilliant. Thanks so much for that, Fern. And
You're welcome, Aidan.
yeah, I think everyone in the football community is really appreciative of E.ON's contribution here. Obviously, everyone knows that we're going through and have been going through a financial crisis in terms of the cost of living for a number of years now, and energy being a key kind of factor in that, as well as our kind of social responsibility from a green perspective as well. So it's really exciting that this program exists, and hopefully we can support everyone to take good advantage of it.
Thank you.
So just moving on to our agenda for the evening. So it's going to be relatively straightforward. We should be able to keep it within the hour, if not slightly earlier. Um, so we're going to give you just a bit of an overview as to what the Greener Game actually is, and then each of the three kind of phases of the program, and how what you can kind of gain from each of those different aspects, and then the process of how you'll actually sign up and kind of on board onto the program as well. So, what is the Greener Game? So, it's essentially a partnership between the FA and Eon Next to support clubs to reduce their energy expenditure and save money whilst reducing grassroots football's impact on the environment. So, as Fern mentioned, it was launched in November 2024, and the program is delivered in three phases. So, phase one is you'd receive a free energy support pack. Second phase, you'd be invited to apply for a free energy audit. And then phase three is you could receive some infrastructure supports to implement some of the recommendations that were identified in the energy audit. The best thing about this program is all of it's free. There are potentially one or two slight costs that may come up depending on what infrastructure support has been recommended for you, and the specifics of your site. But generally, the installation and the products and installation for the infrastructure is provided from Eon. So really good news, that part. But to bring the project to life, we just got a quick video which will hopefully explain it a bit better than I can.
Football is more than just a game. It's a community, a passion, a way of life. People like you across the country give their time to make our game happen, but times are tough. Football clubs, like all of us, are struggling with rising energy costs. We know it can be expensive to run a club. The floodlights, heating, hot water, maintaining a space for your community. Now's the time to act. We want to help clubs save on energy and invest more in what matters, football. Welcome to the Greener Game, our journey towards a sustainable future. Together with Eon, we're here to support hundreds of clubs with the tools and funding to make a real difference. From self-service kits to energy audits and clubhouse upgrades, we'll help your club thrive. Let's join forces and build a better, more sustainable future for the game we love.
Oops. Okay, so just to kind of get into the actual program itself, then. So the energy support pack. So this is phase one. So as soon as you sign up to the Greener Game, you'll receive your free energy support pack, and you'll be able to start making savings straight away. So this program, as I mentioned, is open to 2 and 3 star England football accredited clubs. And that support pack includes things such as a power meter, so you can count the cost of all your appliances, and kind of figure out which ones are maybe burning the most, and where you might be able to change those. Plug-in timers, which will allow you to switch off some appliances at certain times, so you're not leaving them on all of the time. There's various posters and stickers that you can put around your site that will encourage people to make sure that they're switching off appliances after they've finished using them, or turning off taps when they leave the bathrooms. There's also a energy health check guide that's included, which gives you a number of different tips and hints in which you can use straight away just to walk around your site and consider how you could be working in a more green fashion and reducing your expenditure. So if if you don't go any further with the program, it's definitely worth at least taking this first step, because, as you mentioned, it's completely free, and there's only some positives that you might be able to get out of it in terms of making some savings. In terms of phase 2, so this is where the energy audit comes in, and I'll shortly invite Anthony from E.ON to come in on this. So phase 2, you'll be invited to apply for an energy audit. So the energy audit is delivered by E.ON, so they'll come to your site and effectively carry out an assessment of what you've got there in terms of energy consuming systems, and there'll be a bit of a consideration as to what different elements you could change that would help you to save energy. You'll see on the screen there that there's a bit of an example there of an extract of a report. So at this particular site, you'll notice that there's some measures which are listed on the left-hand side. You've got some information in the first 4 columns around the potential savings that could be made. So you've got gas and electric there, kilowatt hours, and TCO2. I'd love to tell you what that means, but I'm not sure. I'm hoping Anthony might be able to explain. But then also you've got the key numbers towards the end there in terms of the amount that you'd be able to save, and these are obviously approximates. And then next to that on the right, you've got the approximate CapEx, which is the capital expenditure that you'd need to effectively implement that recommendation. So these are the things that you'd effectively be supported with funding towards. It's not a guarantee that you'd be offered all of what's on there or any of what's on there. Not every club will be in a position where they will be offered something, but this will basically give you an insight, and it might even be that, depending on what the costs of different things are, it might be something such as, you can see their draft proofing, the approximate capital expenditure is £250, and within that first year you make back 398, and that's an annual saving that you'd make back by implementing that measure. So it might be one that, as a club, you think, actually, we've got the resource to do that anyway. And then the final column on the right just kind of indicates when you can expect that return on investment to be delivered. So short term would be kind of 1 to 3 years, medium term would be 3 to 6 years, and then long term would be anything beyond 7 years. So you can see that the 3 at the bottom there, although they're longer term ones, particularly the solar powered one, the savings you make from year 1 are quite substantial straight away. So in terms of the actual audit itself, Anthony, I think now might be a good time to bring you in and to just cover a little bit about how the audit process works.
Yeah, hi everyone. So obviously the upfront, we do ask quite a lot of questions. We've tried to cut that down as much as possible from the pilots. We sort of ask whether or not you've got any energy data. Sort of 12 months energy data is absolutely brilliant if you've got it. Half hourly is even better, but basically the team can try and work out what you've got just based off of even monthly data or whatever else you've got. We'll try and put everything together and give you some idea of what we're going to do before we turn up on site and who's going to go to site. We'll arrange with you sort of days and times to actually go and turn up. The guys, when they turn up, you'll notice we've got George on here. You'll have seen him on the video. It's just been shown. We've got teams up and down the country. But yeah, we'll look at everything you've got. So whether it's building fabric, double glazing, cavity walls, insulation in your roofs, what type of roof installation you've got, what your boilers are, what your radiators are, what controls you've got, what lighting you've got, what type of heating system you've got, your hot water, and we will compile a report based off of your energy figures and what we see on site, and we'll put together some recommendations to help you make some savings.
Brilliant. And there's some further recommendations that might appear that aren't part of this program as well. Is that right?
Yeah, so obviously this is an energy saving audit rather than a decarbonisation audit. One of the sort of goals of the FA is to decarbonise, but mostly this is purely focused around energy saving. But like the boilers changing over to air source heat pumps or decarbonising, we will make some notes around that, but that's more of a sort of just giving you guys knowledge as to what can be done rather than what would be offered as part of this program. This is purely looking at your energy consumption and trying to help you save some cost on your energy bills rather than the full decarbonisation.
Brilliant. Yeah, no, I heard of an example where there was an additional recommendation around conversion to waterless urinals, for example, which helps on saving water. So it's not something you can get funding via this program, but it's something that a club might consider wanting to do anyway, because it's still going to have a positive impact on the environment from their perspective.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so in terms of the infrastructure support, so as I mentioned, certain clubs would be invited to apply for infrastructure support. So the reason why it's written as certain clubs and not necessarily every club is because everyone's sites are going to be slightly different. The recommendations are going to be slightly different. Some of the recommendations are going to be feasibly things that can be supported, and some things won't be. Obviously, there is a funding package as well in terms of the amount that can be spent each year. So that's why it's certain clubs. So in terms of the potential support you can get, I mean, you can see some of the examples on the screen there in terms of solar panels, smart meters, lighting controls, etc. Generally, as I mentioned before, the support will be for the actual items and the installation of them, but there may be some additional costs that yourselves as clubs might have to bear. So if, for example, your building was built at within a certain point where there's a risk that there may be asbestos in the building, you may need an asbestos report.
Pre-2000. Any building
2000.
pre-2000, you guys should have asbestos reports because it's a public building. So you should have an asbestos register. There's been a couple of clubs that we've gone to have not had their own asbestos registers. So we would ask you get an asbestos or if you've got your asbestos survey, to let us have it, or if not, obviously some of the recommendations where we look at some of the heating, the pipe work, the insulation, some of that sort of 1970s, 1980s, and it may have like asbestos lagging on it. Or if we're looking at some of the solar panels, when you start to go up in the roofs, there can be asbestos sheeting and stuff like that. And it's just keeping all of our installation teams safe to make sure we know whether or not there's any risk. And obviously, most asbestos these days is fairly safe. It's contained, and as long as you don't disturb it, there's no real issue with it. But obviously, some of the work that we will do, we would need to maybe disturb some of it, and we just need to put sort of mitigation in place for that.
No, brilliant. Yeah. So it's those sort of things where there might be some cost to bear to the project, but that should be, hopefully, in most cases, relatively minimal. In terms of the process for applying for the funding, after you've done your energy audit, there isn't actually any additional information that you need to send, as long as everything's been sent over ahead of the energy audit. Fingers crossed there you might get an email through asking for 1 or 2 additional items potentially. But the aim is that at the point of applying for your energy audit, those who are making the funding decision have effectively got everything they need except for your report, which identifies what the measures actually are. So, Anthony, I don't know if you wanted to explain a bit about the technical panel and the funding panel. I think Anthony's crashed. I
can talk through it if you like.
Yeah, go for it.
You back? Yeah. No, you. If you're back, Tony, you go.
Yeah, sorry. Can you hear me again? My internet just dropped a second then. Yeah. So what will happen is we'll come out and we'll do the report, and we will then put that report through to a technical panel. The technical panel will review that and we'll look at the whether it's feasible to do the works within the program that we've got, and from that technical panel we would recommend certain technologies to go forward towards a funding panel, and then the funding panel will then scrutinise what the report and the technical panel have said, and from that they would then make an award to the club. So where you've got down there apply for infrastructure support, what you would actually see is an award coming out. So although you get your report through and it will say to you there's all of these measures that you could do, obviously some of the more expensive things on there like the solar panels, etc., those type of measures would go forward to the technical panel and the funding panel, and you would find out obviously at a later date whether or not the technical panel and the funding panel have approved any of those for an award to your club.
Brilliant. Yeah, thanks so much for that. So yeah, it's effectively from the club perspective, once the application for the energy audit's done, it's just sit back and wait for the program to play out. Everything happens effectively around them, and hopefully they'll then get contacted shortly down the line to say, right, well, we can offer you this in terms of a funding awards to carry out this piece of work. So hopefully it takes the stress away from clubs as well.
Yeah, obviously we know everybody's volunteers, and we know sort of time is key to a lot of what you do. So we're trying to make the sort of questioning and upfront information as painless as possible, and we're trying to make the audit process through to any award that you may or may not be offered as simple as possible, because obviously it's you guys have got things to do with all the teams in the club and running the place, rather than sitting back and wondering what we're up to.
No, brilliant. So hopefully that gives a good overview of the kind of 3 phases of the program. I'm just going to move on to another video now, which basically gives you a bit of an insight into, I guess, the impact that this can be made. And this was Shefford Sports Club, who were used as the for the pilot at the start of the program as well.
The club is massively important to the local community. There are 42 junior clubs and 4 adult clubs that use the facility, as well as the local houses that have been built opposite, and the rest of the town using the facility for functions. So yeah, really massively important. Our energy bills are putting a massive pressure on the club in terms of the finances. Roughly our energy bill monthly is about £3,000, £3,500 a month. That's the cost of the floodlights for fixtures during the winter period, the running of the bar, the functions that we have, just general kind of daily usage in terms of water, electric and gas to run the boilers and everything else within the club itself. A Green Again pilot opportunity came up through the FA, and I thought I'd be silly not to try and be involved in an opportunity like this to try and reduce costs, not just for us but for other grassroots clubs that will be in similar positions and not know where to go. If this is a pilot that happens and can be rolled out, then it will benefit absolutely every grassroots club in the country.
So on the back of our audits, we will go away, we'll take photographs and get various bits of information. Clubs will receive a written report with some recommendations which they can then act upon. Those recommendations will have business cases attached to them so they can make informed decisions.
So the lights are on sensors, so if there's no movement they do turn off, and this is the same for the away changing rooms. The floodlights control panels over there. So I put half the lights on at 7 to allow them half an hour or 40 minutes of warm up. Then we put the other ones on so that it's full for when they come out of there on the dugouts, just to try and save a little bit of cash, because 250 quid a match is quite a lot.
So we took a general photograph of the meter and also the display on the meter as well, given the meter is queued what it's currently set at. One of the two larger cylinders. There's a bit of a loose connection, electrical connection onto it.
I think the implementation of the sustainable solutions that we're going to identify in this Green Again initiative is going to help clubs save costs, which means they can keep going, invite more teams into the football arena, and then obviously it will just keep the clubs going further forward.
We're installing the solar, or beginning to install the solar. PV panels to go on the roof and the battery system to store the energy generated. So far we've got the inverter on the wall. So, this converts the energy from DC, generated by the solar, into usable electricity, AC, which we can use in the building. Any excess energy generated will be stored up in the batteries down here, and then this energy can be used when there isn't daylight, either overnight or on a cloudy, overcast day. We're getting up on the roof today to install the solar panels themselves, connect them back to the inverter, and then the club's up and ready to go.
The process so far has been really smooth from the point of our audit all the way through to the installation. The timeframes have been really quick, and the communication from E.ON, from my perspective, the process has been really good. We're estimating from all of our calculations and those from E.ON that we're going to save about 50% on our annual energy consumptions and prices. That will have a massive impact upon the club, the sports club itself, as well as the football club, in terms of new ventures, new ideas, more things that can happen within the club without having that extra money going out on electric and gas.
So a really good example there of effectively how the program can make a real benefit and a real big saving to a club. So hopefully that's given you some food for thought. So now just looking at how to actually engage onto the program. So in terms of how to sign up, so the window for applications is currently open. It opened on the 1st of this month, and it closes on the 31st of January 2026. The process sign-up's really easy. So there's a form on the England Football website. I've dropped the link in there, but I'll make sure this gets sent around with the slides and the recording as well afterwards. In terms of what you're going to need to complete on that, you'll be asked to just ensure that you're a 2 or 3 star England football accredited club. You'll also be asked for your organisation ID. So when you log into the FA Club portal, this is the set of numbers that's in the top right of the screen when you log in there. So you'll need to input that. You need to be either the chair, the secretary, or the treasurer in order to submit the application. And you'll also need, you'll need security of tenure if you want to have the energy audit done. And that will need to be either the freehold or a 5-year lease. If you don't have either of those, you can still get the energy support pack. You just wouldn't be able to progress to the energy audit phase. You'll also be asked about what facilities you have on the site. So whether you've got grass pitches, whether you've got 3G pavilion. After you've then been sent the energy support pack, when you then get invited for the energy audit, you'll be asked for some further information. So this will include your energy and water bills, evidence of your security of tenure. So you might need to upload your lease or freehold document, evidence of buildings and contents insurance, how many teams you've got at the club, and what your typical week of usage would look like in terms of your site. So does it get used midweek, in the evenings? Does it get used at all during the daytime for any community activity? And obviously the bits and pieces and matches throughout the weekend. What are the operating hours that you're open for? And are there any known hazards? So we mentioned about asbestos earlier. Is that something that you do have on site? Are you aware of it? Do you already have an asbestos report? And if you do, then you'll be asked to upload that at that moment as well. Does the building have a condition survey, particularly if it's one that's a bit run down? And if you do, then that may need to be provided at that point as well. If you go through and haven't submitted one of those documents at that point, then you may just get prompted to ask that to send those over at a later point anyway. And then finally, you'd also be asked what you would do with the savings if you received investment. I think from an FA point of view, it's probably useful if your intention is to spend it certainly on football, but the key drive that the FA have had over the last few years is around grass pitch improvement. So if any of the savings that you're making can be spent on improving the quality of the grass, then yeah, that would probably go down quite well in terms of your application. So I think that's pretty much it. Unless you've got anything to add on that, Anthony, I will flip to open the floor to questions.
Yeah, I'm just looking at one of the questions there from Philip Drew with regards to being with E.ON with your electricity to qualify. No, you don't. I'm not bothered who you're with. You know, there is coming up some E.ON sort of tariffs and bits and pieces that you can talk to them about. But me and my auditors, we deal with lots of different organizations, you know, retail, industrial, commercial, everybody, and they are all with different providers. And again, you know, if you've got renewables, you can be with one provider and get export tariffs with another provider. So yeah, you don't need to be with E.ON to sign up for this. Obviously, you know, if you can let us know what your energy use is, that's all I really need to know.
Brilliant. And just following, I can see another couple of questions he's got on there. So how long roughly does each stage take time-wise?
It all depends. So the sign-up process, obviously, once the window opens, the quicker you can get all of your information uploaded, and there's a team there's a guy called Murray that leads the team who does all the communications with the club, making sure, you know, they've got everything that they need to get the approval. Once the approval goes onto the system to say yes, the club's got everything we need from regards to the sign-up point of view, then it's just planning a visit in with my team of auditors to come out to the club. Then Fern's pretty good with organising the technical panels. We have them around about once a week. We're looking through the audits that are being produced by the auditing team. And again, depending on the workload, it depends how many we'll get out. But it can be a few weeks before the audit's gone through the sort of technical panel to look at that. And that from that you'll receive the audit. So you're probably looking around a month from the actual audit to receiving the audit. Now the technical panels obviously feed into the funding panel. The funding panel from the last round is in January. Fern, you may be able to give some idea of when a funding panel for this round would be.
Yeah, I think you could expect to hear within a couple of a month perhaps to 6 weeks, but we'll just we'll agree and communicate all of that as we move through the round.
Brilliant.
So realistically, if I did something like if I filled the form you got on the screen now, realistically I've got to wait 2 to 3 months just so I've got a broad. It's not a criticism, it's just so I've got a broad sort of timescale. Broadly.
I think that sounds about right. Would you say? But if it was to be filled in now, you could be looking at about 2 or 3 months until you'd get to the point of being offered something, I guess, effectively. Is that the question? Yeah.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
we can pick up our side as well and get some estimate timeframes. Just been having a scan for our previous documents, but can't see the exact timeframe. So just to manage expectations, we can come back and just check that.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, I think a lot of the clubs that we're auditing now, so the clubs that we've been auditing sort of through sort of September, October time, the funding panel is going to be in January. So that should give you an idea of the timescales from this previous one. So it's sort of 3 months from the audit that it's going through to the funding panel. So yeah, obviously we'll give you some ideas of the funding, when the funding panels will be from these next audits.
Yeah, we would be sorry, I just had a quick look at what we said last time, and yeah, it would be if the funding panels in January, we'd be looking sort of end of February, early March. But again, we'll communicate with clubs with the with England Football as well. And we do have some dedicated emails. So, you know, if it's been a few weeks and you haven't received your energy audit, for example, then you can just get in touch with us and we can let you know a bit more of a detailed estimate of when you'll receive it. Because we do appreciate that once the audits have taken place, everyone's really keen to see the recommendations and start implementing that great advice where they can.
Yeah, I don't think heated dugouts will be on there because I think that's going to be more of an energy user.
Brilliant. And I've just seen the question there around the chair, secretary and treasurer having to submit for this. And I think Tom's picked it up, but for those who haven't seen it yet, it is a problem that we're aware of. Obviously, it's the same with Football Foundation Investment, where it has to be the chair, the secretary or treasurer. And we know that those 3 roles are already overloaded. We have communicated that with the foundation and the FA, and as I understand it's been looked into. So watch this space. There might be an additional role that's added to that set of 3 at some point, but at the moment we're not. It's only those 3. Seen a question in there from Kathy regarding not having a freehold or a lease, but utilising the City Council space, and the City Council have given the service level agreement in order to access Grasspitch Maintenance Fund. So I was hoping that there would be something in place that could overcome that in this programme as well. So I think the only potential option is a joint application. I'd need to double check on eligibility of the second applicant. Obviously, as a football club, you would be eligible, but I'm not 100% sure on who the second the kind of joint applicant could be. I don't know if Fern, you're aware in that regard.
Yeah, so there's in our FAQ documents we run through this. So if you don't have the freehold or a lease of longer than 5 years, then we would accept, as Aidan was saying, the freeholder as a joint applicant. So some other examples we've seen of this are local authorities, county FAs, registered charities, not-for-profit companies. So yeah, if you could get in touch with your county FA, then we can pick that up in more detail with you.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Fern.
Welcome.
Brilliant. Okay. Were there any other questions? Chris, I've seen your one regarding Langton Green, so I'll pick that one up with you separately. Is there any that have been missed? Okay, I think that's it then. So next slide was questions. So in terms of next steps then, so I guess you've got until the end of January to sign up. So yeah, make sure you do before then. You should receive your energy support pack pretty quickly. And then as soon as you're able to, make sure you get your energy audit applied for. If you can get as much of the information together first time for the energy audit, it just makes the whole process a lot quicker. And then yeah, if you get an offer of any funding, then great news. And yeah, we look forward to seeing those projects come to life and the savings that you're able to make. So as mentioned, if you've got any further questions or any specific discussions to have about your site, then yeah, make sure you get in touch with your county FA, who will be happy to support in the first instance. But yeah, unless we've got any other questions, then yeah, you've got 15 minutes back, and yeah, hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.